Right, we're going to do a doc today. That's the whole point of this. And so when you go into Document Stacker, you want to select whatever account you're going to use, and you're going to put in a title here, and then you're going to find which one you're going to use. And we're going to go into Article Stacker, and we want to get a target URL. So let me grab that. And so the big thing is to make it point to wherever you want it to go to, whether that's a video or your blogger post or, you know, a buffer. This is where you put it. And then you've got to have two anchor text, which has to be something inside of your actual text you're going to use. So let me go grab those real quick. And you just paste them in here. This is your main keyword, and then you'll have a secondary one that you want to use. Which will go over here. So basically, once we get that filled out, then I'm not going to use any of the rest of the stack. That's not the point of what we're doing here. So what we need to do next is go over here and take a look. You've got two options. This one is you put spin text in here, click spin, and it'll fill out your articles. But if you're only doing one, you could put your text in here straight, okay? But I'm going to show the spin text one. I just think that's going to help everybody a little better to have the idea of what would happen in the spin text. So we're going to grab our spin text. You just copy your spin text that you've created, okay? Drop it in here, and once you've got it, you click spin, okay? And so once that's done, you can come over here to your article, and this, you can see the spin text is now in there as a single article. And so what we need to do next is fill out something here, and you can use an article, you can use keywords, links, whatever you want to put in here. So you want to get that filled out because it's going to be part of what you're doing here. So let's go grab something. I'm just going to do some keyword and link stuffing at the moment. So we're going to grab our stuff here. And like that. Now, once we've got everything in there, we're basically ready to go. I'm going to run back over here and show you. So we've got our two anchor text keywords, our main link, your title, what's selected, and then you've got everything in here. You've got two places to fill out in here. And so once you've done that, it's just a matter of hitting the go button. If you want to save it first, you can certainly do that, which sometimes is a good idea in case you have a problem. And then all we have to do is hit this upload button, but I need to have this marked if we want to see it. And we've got two options here also. Your upload as an HTML doc, which will come out like a regular doc, and then you'll look at, we've also got a PDF option. So inside of RFR, you can do either one. I'm going to stay with the HTML doc, and we're going to see that when I hit the upload button. And it doesn't take very long, usually. It's uploading the article, so it should just be a few seconds. It always takes longer when we're inside a webinar. Can everybody see that? That's kind of what it's going to look like in the HTML format. Well, if you actually go on the drive, it won't quite look like this, but you can see what we've got is anchor text here, 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 and here. And so that's anchor texting to our link, okay? So I'm going to close that unless somebody wants to see that. So let's go back over here. Basically, that's all there is to setting up a doc and using it. Once we've fired that trigger, which is the doc trigger, I mean, you can go in and make a doc manually on your drive under that account. But that trigger is going to fire off, and you're going to get, I believe it's 9 properties directly behind this, and 1 or 2 of them are going to have another tier underneath them because they're actually dropping into sheets. So basically, you're going to get a second tier on that, either 1 or 2, I can't remember which it is. But that is the entire process of setting up and running a dock, and your trigger is fired. So you will get those backlinks probably within an hour or so or two. You should have all 9 of your backlinks going. What questions do we have, guys?
Do you have that list of what are the ones underneath the Google Docs that it's triggering to?
No, not where I can get to it easily. But it's stuff like Pocket and Instapaper and all of those Web 2.0s, pretty much.
Can you also put an image in the doc, according to Scott? I mean, you can manually put an image in it. You can manually do anything that you want in the document. You can't
do that in RFR. Our documents in RFR, we cannot put an image in. But if you go over and do it on the drive manually, you can put anything you want in there, yes. So you're free to go in there and set up the doc and put your images in there. It's just, this is not set up for that.
So if you're using DocStacker, will it take all of those articles or just take one article?
If you run a stack, it's going to do all of them, which is probably not what you're wanting. If you're going to work with inside of normal bounds, you don't really want to have 5 articles showing up on all of those Web 2.0s within seconds of each other. So I would just recommend running one article. If you're going to do a doc stack, I would do it on a different account that doesn't have the Web 2.0s underneath it, so that you don't overload your Web 2.0s and start potentially running into problems. But the idea is just to set it up and run it inside of RFR as an article, which is what we did here. We ran our article. This is our article into our doc stack, to our doc on a Google Drive. And so that within 30 minutes to an hour, probably have most of all of your Web 2.0s showing. So
just so that I can be clear with their question, if you did run article 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, every time you created that article, would that trigger the Google
each
Doc?
article will trigger another firing of the Ifttts set up behind the behind the docs. So every doc you put up, it doesn't matter whether it's this
here or a new one,
keyword doc, or it's a buffer doc. You're going to fire. Any doc will fire every time it's you put up a doc. So it doesn't matter what doc it is, it's still going to fire those 9 properties behind it.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the whole point of this, is to give us the option of not having to sit there and do like a doc stack to everything. Now we have an option. We can get links behind our doc without actually having to stack them. You know, we're actually getting 2 tiers of links behind that doc, and we don't have to do a doc stack. So it doesn't matter if we're, you know, here doing an article, or we're here doing, you know, whatever. And even here, you could do an article here. It's just it won't do the what we showed. Let's go back over. It won't do this kind of anchor text format when you do it in a buffer doc. And so basically you can put your article and your description in here, and this will be a bare link if you do it over in the buffer doc. But over under article stacker, you're getting the anchor text. And so these are anchor texting into your article that you're seeing here, and that's what's going to show up. And so that's what your is pointing to your other links. And so that's what we're building, is the links all pointing to this property, this video.
I think once everybody learns a little bit about this and plays with it, it could be quite interesting.
Yeah, because it's going to give us, exactly, it's going to give us a totally different dimension and approach to what we're doing with docs. is that we don't actually have to stack them now to get a second or a third tier behind them. And you can go, if you want to stack, and do it on a different drive. You know,
Right.
makes sense. I mean, if I was going to stack on this drive, I wouldn't do more than 2 articles.
Question is, are all of those keyword links going to the same target URL?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
You're creating anchor text to that target URL. And so that actually adds relevance to that target URL. And Google is always looking for relevance.
Okay. So here, interesting, if you paste in HTML embedded with an image, would that, I'm guessing, image be triggered in the image section? And I would guess no, because it's
No, it's not going to go because you're not in the right place to trigger the image. If you go over there and do the image where you're supposed to, then it will actually end up on the drive, but it's not going to end up as a document.
still need, no, it's not going to be a document, but that image still needs to go to Flickr, because Flickr is what's going to be the trigger, right?
Exactly. Flickr is the trigger, but Flickr will, in the IFTTT situation, once you've posted to Flickr, it will push it over onto your G drive, and so it will be on the drive, but not as a document. Okay, it'll be an image over on your drive, and so if you want to do that as an image and then post it on your drive, then you could actually pull it off your drive into your document if you made your document manually.
Gary's asking, is that any doc in a nominated Google account?
And what's the rest of the question?
That's the question.
I don't understand. Repeat that so maybe it gets clearer.
Is that any doc in a nominated Google account? I'm assuming that whatever Google Gmail account that you're in, maybe?
If you're inside of one of the Gmails that you have in your network, if I selected this account, it's not in that network. So if I don't have the right account, no, it's not going to work. It's got to be one of the ones that you bought and comes in your spreadsheet. So you've got to have, if you bought a single ring, it'd be a single ring. If you bought 5 rings, then you would have 5 of these, okay, that you could do this to. And then that's, any document you post will always get those 9 links back behind it.
Okay. So Leon likes the anchor text feature of article stacker tab. I agree for what it's worth. Leon likes the anchor text feature. Oh, okay. So you like the anchor text feature versus just doing a doc with no anchors. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, particularly for this scenario for using docs, you want your link that you're driving something to have some relevance to it. And so basically, yeah, that's what I prefer for this. Let me check some spreadsheets here. Well, we got 4 of them.
At 5 now.
Well, that's not a spreadsheet. That's our.
Oh, okay.
That's probably our document. Let me go look, and we'll see. Yeah, see, that's our actual document. That's our actual document. It's the same as what we had over here, but when I clicked on the link, it took me over there. So it's either this one or this one. So let's see what this one is. If they've gone that far yet. I don't know if it hadn't gone that far yet. Okay, it's not that one.
Let's see.
Let's go down here and try that one. That might be it. No, that's the YouTube video link. Yeah, I don't think that's it.
So it takes a while for them to get there anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was just checking to see if it maybe has made it. I don't think it has. From the looks of what we're seeing, I don't think it's there yet.
So let me ask everybody a question. Every time you see Leon do this, you know, one of the things that he does is he likes to go back to this, you know, feature that we built in a long time ago, which is, you know, checking the links, you know, on the link grabber. Are any of you guys starting to use that link grabber? And if so, what do you think of it being in RFR that you never used before? Are any of you guys starting to use it now that you've seen how effective it might be and how easy it is for Leon to use it? Well, at least one person said they like it.
Well, it allows me to, especially with what we're doing right here, is to see how fast we're getting to that tier. And it may not have gotten through the first tier yet all the way, so that it probably hasn't got around to second tier, which this would be a second tier behind one or two of those. So basically, it takes a little time. Like I said, probably within an hour or two, it will reach there. But this allows you to go grab those links real easy and do other things with them if you want to take these links over to Sheets or over to BLF, you know, and run something over on the Backlink Factory. We can do that real easy. So it allows us to grab all the links that are on that particular drive.
So were you running any likes or links to a YouTube video anywhere? I just wondered if you check YouTube right now, would you get any of the YouTube links that are in any of the docs?
Your question is kind of
if you check the YouTube, right?
Right.
Just check the YouTube link. Would it bring back any of the links within your Google Drive that have your YouTube link in it?
Oh, never actually tried that. Usually you're looking for the name or title of the document. You're not looking for something that's actually anchor texted in there as a link. I've never even tried that before. I'm kind of doubtful that I kind of doubt it would work, Patrick.
Okay. I mean, it only may as if, like you said, if it was in the actual title of the YouTube video.
Right. When you put things in the link grabber, what you're looking for is, they call it a keyword, but it's really the title of whatever it is you're looking for. Whether you're looking for, you know, a calendar or a site or a blogger post, it's your title you're putting in here, or some part of that title. You know, we could shorten this title down and just use part of it, and then we'd probably pull back a lot more links. So it's a matter of whatever title you're using that is going to tell you what you're getting. Okay, so it has to do with the account you selected and the title you put in here, and then you're getting the links for that. I mean, we're getting specific here. I could go more general and I'd get a lot more links, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what we're doing here is we're just setting up an article, and in this case we're using anchor text, but you could use the buffer doc. Like we said, it just will not anchor text over on the buffer doc. You're going to get your raw link there, and it would still be the same thing that we just did over here, except the link is it. That one link, that one raw link, is the only link you'll have in that document. In this case, we actually had several places where we were anchor text, so it will come across as more links, but it's going to create relevancy to that particular link that we're trying to deal with. So, which was our YouTube. And like I said, you can have any link in here you want. If you're trying to go to a site, though, we do recommend a buffer. So you might actually be linking to your buffer doc. If you're going to use this as your buffer doc, you could actually use, if you chose, this as a buffer doc and set it up this way. So however you want to create a buffer doc, it doesn't matter. but you could set it up to go to your Blogger post or G site, whatever. That's the versatility of this, is that now we've got this, especially with our article, we can go change the article over here under, oops, I'm not in the right place, the original article by hitting spin again, and we'll get a new article in here. And then if we want to change the title just a tad, we can do that and then link to something else. So we can just keep doing this over and over and over. You know, we could go to our Blogger post, we could go to our G site, whatever, and keep putting, you're building more tiers behind it. So now that we say we did this to our Blogger post, now we've got basically our article or our doc right behind the Blogger post, but then we've got another tier behind that with our Web 2.0s, and then we've got with Sheets, we've actually got another tier behind one or two of those that are in there. So the Sheets will show up as a tier, well, if you count the doc as a tier 1, and then the web properties as a tier 2, and then the Sheets will be a tier 3. So you're basically layering 3 tiers behind whatever it is you're linking to.
Did everybody understand that? You get that? I mean, here's the thing that I'm thinking of as I see you do this, because I haven't seen how it's been processed before. But if, let's say Scott, you know, for wine boxes, right? He could just come in here in theory, you know, once a day, or VA once a day, you know, put an article in here and, you know, hit go, and it's going to go through and create the trigger, and it's going to go to all the properties, you know, that day. The next day, do another one, and the next day, another one, and the next day, another one. So every time that he does that, he's going to get exponentially more power just because of the document that he did that particular day, or the VA did it that day, or whoever did it that day.
Right. Exactly.
So would it make sense to, since we have 4 tiers, and next Thursday what we'll do is we'll just have a general question about everything.
Well, at this point, we can question anything we want. The tiers are only 3 when you're using an article.
But listen to my question, what I was going to say. Would it make sense, and I'm asking the question to you, would it make sense, or does it not make sense to say, you know, today I'm going to do an image or 2 or 3. Tomorrow I'm going to do a document or 2 or 3. The next day I'm going to do a blogger or 2 or 3. And the next day I'll do a YouTube. In other words, spread it out in a scheduled format, instead of hitting all 4 tiers or triggers at the same time. So that was the question.
Yeah, to some degree. I mean, it's like building the power within your Blogger. Let's go with Blogger for the moment, because that's really our biggest, the one that's going to get us the most links and the most going. What do we want to do after we've done that Blogger post? You know, maybe go over here and run a document behind that. But yeah, you don't necessarily have to do all 4 in a day, although you can. But a regular schedule when it comes to a blogger, okay, that's what's going to start building the power in that blog. So whether you're doing it once a week, or, you know, preferably at least 2 or 3 times a week for a blog post, you can do the same thing with your Google Doc, and you can be backlinking to whatever, you know. So yeah, a regular schedule is always better, especially if you've got a big project. You know, if you're really trying to go after something that's a bit harder, you're not just going to throw up, let's go over here for a second. Okay. You're not just going to go through this and say, I'm done. Yeah, you know, it's, you know, I've done one of everything, it should rank now. You know, that's not the story. You know, you're going to go in there and you're going to keep doing blog posts, but you're going to change the content, okay, and the titles. You know, the same thing with your HTML stacker, the same thing with sheets and slides and calendars. You're not going to post the same calendar every day, but you could go in there on a regular schedule and set up another calendar and then another calendar. And you're going to do that with docs. But docs, like many of these, can link to any or all of these. So you could run a blog post today and then run your docs over to that. And you could go do an HTML stack today, and then you could run your docs over to that. So there's a lot of ways to work this, but what you're trying to do is continue creating that content and those tiers and stack deeper and deeper and more backlinks over time.
In a consistent fashion.
Consistent way. Yeah, you just do one set of this and I'm done. And if you're in a competitive market, you ain't going to get there.
Right. So kind of like in reference to that question a little bit, a couple of people are confused on, I'll just read it here. I only had one spun article created in Google Docs. Following your example, period. What might I have missed? You had 4 or 5. I saw there was a spun article in each of the article tabs.
Well, let's go back over there. We'll do this a tad different. You can do this, but like I have said repeatedly, I wouldn't do that now that I've got these Web 2.0s behind it. But if you're on another account, let's switch accounts, say we went down here, then I could certainly go in here and basically you're adding different articles, which when you come over here, you can see now they're all filled out because I actually added. I don't even have the title on these, and now they're all there, okay? So you can come over here and hit spin. I'm in the wrong spot again, okay. Hit spin and refresh those to each having another article and you're coming up with actually different articles each time. Each of these is going to be a slightly different version because each one of these that are spun will get a different article to it. And so, yeah, if you want to do an article stack, go to a different drive and go do that.
But if they did that right there, what you're sharing, then the question is, would all 5 of those articles be the 5 triggers? And it would be trigger times 5.
If you were on that other drive, if you're on a drive that doesn't have that, if you're on the drive we started with, each of those, and that's what we said earlier, each of those is going to be a trigger firing off to your Web 2.0. So you're going to have 9 coming here, 9 coming here, 9 coming here, and it's going to be just rapid fire. And so you're posting to all 9 of those, you're posting 5 times really fast, and that's going to look really funny. And
Mike, does that make sense to your question? Okay.
Not only is it going to be funny, but it could end up getting your Web 2.0s in trouble.
Okay. So Terry, you use article stacks and articles all the time, along with all the stuff that you do. Do you see anything that you might do a little bit differently, or in the way that you would do your IFTTT? I don't know if you can unmute yourself, or because I can't, so that's what I was asking. Okay, so you can do that. It's just in your opinion of doing these things, you just don't want to just keep blowing stuff up on a rapid fire basis to each of them, right?
Well, exactly. That is why we set the sheets up in the way that we did, is that they're always last. Because the way we've set up sheets, we could have actually had things behind the sheets, but we didn't do that because of backlink factor. If we set up things behind the sheets and went in and run backlink factory, with 100,000, 200,000 links, you're going to hit all those Web 2.0 properties with 100,000 or 200,000 links coming through there in just a matter of, a few hours, and that's going to kill them really fast. We purposely did not do that so that you can have this as a tool to use all the time. So you don't want to abuse the tool, which is why I'm recommending that you only run one doc at a time because of what's behind it. In this scenario, if you want to run the stack, go to a different drive. It doesn't matter as long as it's not got the same stuff that we're talking about now.
Right.
Most everybody's got multiple drives that don't have this Ifttts network behind them. And so just go to one of those and use it to run a dock stack. That's what I would do. It's not that you can't run it on here, it's that it's probably not the best idea. I wouldn't do that myself.
I think everybody should do it and tell me if you blow anything up. Then we'll know that you did it and we didn't, and therefore it's not our fault. So yeah, do it, test it. I'd send 5 stacked articles every hour, see what happens. The disclaimer on that statement is it's not my fault if it blows up.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not our recommendation.
Gary's asking, so if you do all 5 and then cut out the other articles, you'll have 5 versions of an article equal 5 weeks worth of docs to post.
I have no idea what you just said.
If you do all 5, if you do all 5 articles and then cut out the other articles, you'll have 5 versions of an article. I guess that's times 5 worth of docs to post. Repurposing the articles, I guess is what they
repurposing the articles with spin text. It depends on how far you've gone with your spin text, but you could run virtually probably thousands of spins with each one being unique. It just depends on how deep you've gone with your spin text. With Spin Rewriter, it's pretty easy and pretty quick to set it up, and then you don't have to do it in here. You could go over to Keyword Translation Factory and pull off an article anytime you want. So it's just, that's the way it was set up to do the article stacks, over 3 years ago. But now the article stacks, I would recommend that you don't do a 5 deep article stack every time you do something.
Okay.
That's why we set this up behind this the way we did, is so that now we can just one article and still get more power, than we would with just a single article, because we've got 2 tiers behind the actual article. We don't have to worry about doing a doc stack every time. Just with things that are important, go to a different drive, then you can do your doc stack. It's the same with your content for your blogs. Yeah, you could use a spun content and then just put up a different title and post to your blog every other day. Depends on what you're doing. That's going to start to look a little funny, but yeah, you could be going to town with that. So
okay, so interesting. When I go to the one Google Doc created, I see on the far right, updated automatically every 5 minutes. That sounds powerful. How do we use that?
By just doing what we showed you. Once you set up and run this, that's the kind of article you're going to get. I mean, that's the kind of doc you're going to get. Yeah, it actually sets it up. Let's see, I think you still got that. Yeah, it sets it up to update automatically every 5 minutes. So yeah, this is renewing every 5 minutes. It's automatically set up. When you run RFR, that's what you get. A doc that is renewed every 5 minutes.
Renewed as in crawled, pinged, sent.
Something like that, yeah. If you want a clear definition, you might want to talk to Chris about that, but that's what it says in there.
How many Ifttts can safely be used on an authority website? Will too many Ifttts blow up a website?
I don't connect anything directly to a website. That's why we set up these rings the way we do, is that you run it through a buffer, so you can set up your buffer doc over here and then run all this stuff to that link for the buffer doc. You can go in and set up a blog post and run everything to that blog post and use that as a buffer. You can go in and say, so you could use as many IFTTT rings as you want, as long as you're still doing what we recommend by using some sort of buffer, whether it's a G site, a buffer dock, a blogger. There's many things you can put in between, but you don't stack all these rings onto a site and automatically send everything from the site to those rings. I mean, you can actually set up a ring set so that anything you post on a blog for your site will be posted through the rings, but I don't do it that way. I've never done it that way.
And basically excess is always bad anyway, so.
Exactly. I use what is needed and necessary for the project. If I need more, I can go get more. You don't have to overdo it or overkill. You know, I was running Backlink Factory the other day, and as soon as I didn't really go excessive, but I was running maybe 3 links with most of them, and I think I did, because I was changing languages, 20 different setups with different links. I mean, on a video, and it took it right off of the Google video page as soon as I had that done. So you can overdo stuff. And I wasn't by any means going real high with it. You know, I had like 4 or 5 primary and secondary keywords, and that was it.
All right. Yeah, David's like, you know, kind of agreeing. He says 5 power rings or 4 power rings beats 50 fresh rings every day. So exactly.
Yeah, our system, I like the 5 ring setup because it gives you plenty of firepower. You know, and in the dock situation, you can go over, if you're in a 5 ring setup like these 5 right here are all in the same network, you can go over to one of the other drives and run something over there and just maybe change the title and the text a little bit and run it over there. You can go over to another one like this one and do something over there. And so it doesn't all have to be on the same drive. These are your secondary rings, and this was the primary. So you can use these other drives and still get the 9 backlinks behind this. It's, you know, it's just you got to go over to that account and use it, you know. So and it can link to anywhere.
So I guess one of the questions is understanding the power of the rings and what your drop down is showing. So if somebody orders a single 5 ring, only 1 ring bundle, how many Gmail and how many YouTube accounts are they getting?
Well, you said 1 and then you turn around.
No, it's 1. It's 1 5 ring.
Okay, 1 5 ring. That's it. The way you stated it sounded like 1 ring and then it sounded 5 ring. A 5 ring is 5 ring. So you're going to get 5 Google accounts. You're going to have 5 YouTube accounts with those Google accounts. So each one of these, which this is a single network right here, 5 here, each one of those has its own YouTube account. Yep. You have your own G drive, same here, same here, same here. All of them are going to have the same thing. The only thing we did different is we built protection in for people that would get crazy on the image posting, so that if you post to anything other than your branded ring, it's not going to follow down the network. Okay, it's only going to go over to your G drive and to your what is that? Where you post it, Flickr. So it's only going to go to Flickr and to your G drive. It won't tie in. That's the only one, and we built that in as a safety mechanism, so people wouldn't take the same image and go here and post it, go here, post it, here, and get themselves in trouble. Okay, you really don't need 5 of the same blog post on a blogger. Okay, or your WordPress or your Tumblr. You know, if you keep repeating the same post, those guys are going to get pissed at you and you're going to lose your account. So we built in a safety mechanism as far as the image goes, so that you can't go into these other accounts and it won't post to the blog network. It only does that on the primary ring. Otherwise, you can go to these and post your docs. You can go to these and use your YouTube accounts. There's nothing, there's nothing we've set up to stop you on any of these. And I actually go to these others and do blog posts because you want unique content on that. And depending on which level it's at, it'll go down one more, or that may be the end, like if you're down at these two. So I try to get some original or unique content on each of the blogs so that, they don't look like they're all just following the guy at the top.
Wise move in building all these safeguards in for everybody, because we do know we will kill it and break it.
Yeah, I didn't really want that happening.
So, Mike, we're, really the purpose of doing what we're doing today is to not go into all the drive stack or all the drives and look for public and all of that. We know, that that's a discussion that we've had. We've showed that in many different ways, that when we're using the APIs, we're still having our public aspects here. So we're not really going to take time to go into that, but it is still something to be cognizant of. But we're very safe here with that.
There's no problem with that.
This is not an Ifttts question. So Gary, why are you asking? But in any case.
Well, as far as putting up a doc, it is related, because putting up a doc is in the Ifttts realm.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's just going to still have the power. But hang on one second. The question that he's asking, I'm sorry, is the question, but in the buffer doc file description, is there a way to put an anchor text in the description?
No, not from RFR. You can go do that yourself manually if you choose, but it's not going to be done through the tool.
But when if you were to go to the HTML and stacking, you could put whatever you want over there.
Well, we're not talking about HTML stacking.
I know, but I'm answering his question.
He said to buffer doc, and no, you can't anchor text down here.
Correct.
On any document that we have.
Are the Ifttts properties linked in a stack, or do they all link to the target directly?
There is a little bit of a stack, but it's only a minor one, because we put sheets is not a primary. In other words, we did this doc here, whatever, and this isn't going directly to sheets. It goes to one of the other Web 2.0s, and then sheets is behind. It's behind two different Web 2.0s, and so we will get a sheet showing up behind those two Web 2.0s. So there is a little bit of a stack, but other than that, no, we're not really linking all of the Web 2.0s together. That gets a little messy and complicated and can really blow your mind after a while if you're trying to work with it, because it can mess things up if you're not paying attention and set it up wrong. This was a more safer and still very, very, very effective way to go about it. And so we didn't want to get things where they became uncontrollable. So no, we don't have a lot of stacking, but we do have the sheets behind two of the Web 2.0s. That's our extent of stacking.
Okay. All right, well, it looks like no more questions. Sorry for the delay today. It's been a bad day. But we'll set another meeting up for next week and go through all of your 4 areas and play with it, and come back with questions, and we'll just do a general overview next week of answering questions that you come up with. Now that you have all 4 tiers and can play with it, we'll do it Is next Thursday at 3 o'clock a good time for you, Leon?
At this moment, I wouldn't guarantee it next week, but yeah, we'll find out when we get there. So at this moment it is.
So if I go ahead and create a link for next week, it should
Yep.
be okay. Okay.
As of now, it is, yes.
All righty. Any last comments, questions, observations, likes, dislikes?
Yeah, because everybody has, with these webinars, there's 4 of them now, you have all 4 triggers.
Right.
So if you go through the different webinars, you should be able to start understanding the different triggers.
Okay. Steve, at the very beginning, when Leon shared this, he kind of put a mind map out there, or a linking structure. So we'll see if we can't put that link into the IFTTT room for that image, and that might help make some other sense on how you can see each of those things going and working with each other. You still have that we can pop in the room, right, Leon?
Yeah, but that's only for the Blogger network. It won't show any of these others.
Okay. Has everybody received their orders? If not, let us know and we will double check. According to my information from the developer on it, he said that they have all been delivered. So if not, that means maybe it didn't get sent. We have to double check it. First go around, I've not received mine. Okay.
Well, it depends on when they order. If they've only ordered in the last few days, it's probably not going to be there. No.
Right. But I'm talking about the initial order.
Right.
That we initially got the first couple of days. So, but it's been 3 weeks. There's no reason why those that were ordered, at the very beginning would not have been delivered yet, unless there was a mix-up somewhere. So, go ahead and Skype me, and we'll get that taken care of for you right away. Anybody else? And if you can't find me on my new Skype Leon, and Leon will forward it to me.
So, no more questions?
Just put it in the old one and I'll figure it out. Okay. I have 2 of them going, Brigade. It's just crazy the way Skype is treating me like a stepchild, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. Send it to my old Skype and I'll have to pull it up on my phone. But like I said, if you send a message to Leon, then he'll send it to me, and then I can get back to you on that. Okay. Nope, I don't see any other questions. The only thing that I would say at this juncture is that as you get these links and see, not just the properties that we got when you get your stack or your links from the IFTTT, but as you go through and look at all of these other links that is being generated by in Google, like Leon is showing you here, taking those links and doing backlink factory with them. If you don't have backlink factory, just do sheets and RFR, right? And just start, doing small backlinks and keywords and anchor texting, to these target URLs that are popping up. But definitely go back and look at this tool to, get the links that you can start to utilize for yourself. Does that make sense, everybody? So will everybody promise me to go to the link grabber at least once this week? Everybody give me a 1 if you'll promise to do it at least once this week. Just once. That's all I'm asking. Just one time. Just go in there and see what links you can find with your keyword, right? That's awesome. Cool. We'll get you to use it sooner or later. Mike says, I already did it today. I'll do it again. All right, cool. Awesome, guys. Once again, sorry for being late. I've got the grandson here, and it's been a miserable day and doing different things that caught me off guard. So thank you for bearing with me and patience to, let me get this thing going. And Leon, thanks for trying to jury rig up a meet to get it going. I appreciate it. But
Oh, you're welcome.
all's good, man. Okay, thanks, guys. Have a great day. Thanks, Leon.
You bet.